Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome, everyone, for episode 425 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from western northeast South Dakota and eastern southeast South Dakota. We've got two of the four corners covered at least. We've got a guest coming on later this episode. We've got a lot of topics to get to. I don't even know how we'll get to them all. We might just not. But before I get more into that, I should let you know that my name is Tanner, in case you don't know that by now.
And my name is Tommy.
There could be someone tuning in for the first time here this week, and they don't know what our names are. So now they do.
At least one of you out there.
Must have been blue shirt night on the podcast, huh?
Big blue shirt guys over here.
Ryan in the Discord asked if this is a new shirt. No, it is not. This is the Icon tee. The Icon tee has existed in gray and blue. At first it existed in gray, and then it existed in blue.
That's what I thought.
And I do not have the gray one. I would like to have that.
I only have
because
the gray.
I do like the Icon tee.
I only have the gray, but it's in a large, and that's not my preferred size these days, so it doesn't get worn too much.
Yeah, I know how that goes. This episode is brought to you by our fine, reputable friends over at The Strength Co. The Strength Co. makes the best made-in-America Olympic iron barbell plates. They're E-coated with a smooth, sleek black finish that has a great appearance to it, but also makes them easy to grip at the same time. There's a perfect, it almost has a retro vibe to the Strength Co. plates, but they've got this lip on there that makes them easy to grip, and they're the appropriate depth. They're not like these deep dish plates where you can only fit so many on the bar. You can be a strong fella, a strong gal, and fit the appropriate number of plates on the bar. And it looks the way it's supposed to look when you're lifting those Strength Co. plates. So go check them out at thestrength.co. They've also got barbells, deadlift jacks, stall mats, deadlift mats, a whole bunch of other stuff there at thestrength.co. They also have their own podcast, too, if you're into podcasts, which if you're listening to this, you might be. The OK Podcast. It's okay. That should be their new slogan. It's okay.
Listen to our podcast. It's okay. And this episode is also brought to you by Texas Power Bars. Tanner, I regret to inform you that the $50 flash sale at Texas Power Bars is now ended. But,
oh boy.
But wait, there's good news though. There is now a Memorial Day savings sale going on, which means those same savings are still going. I had you in the first part, but you had to hang on. There was more. So if you're curious what these deals are all about, you can save up to $50 on some of the best damn bars available over at TexasPowerBars.com. We're talking about the classics, like the original Texas Power Bar. We're talking about the Texas Deadlift Bar, the Texas Squat Bar, maybe even the 29 millimeter Texas Power Bar if you want something with a new twist on the original. You can also get all of those in a variety of finishes, from your bare steel to black zinc to a variety of Cerakote, including a pretty cool new camouflage Cerakote option they have. They've had it on a few bars, but I believe they've offered it on more now. So if you are interested in a Texas Power Bar of your own and also want to save some money, make sure to head over to TexasPowerBars.com.
This episode will come out on May 27th, Monday, May 27th, day earlier on YouTube, if you're a watcher of the podcast on our YouTube. On May 30th, Thursday, this week, we have a very cool beans drop coming. I'll tell you this much. We're not going to give everything away. We're not going to give you all the secrets away today because it's to come, and we want it to be a bit of a surprise. We want to have a little bit of mystery there. So I would say it is a very cool beans drop. It's a collaboration. Mm-hmm. It's limited edition. And how else could I describe it in ways that would make you want to buy it quickly?
Exclusive?
Yeah. It is a collaboration, and there is a unique part of the bundle. You know, there's something unique in this bundle that we've never sold before, so we're excited for it. Just trying to think if there's anything else I could say about it without giving away the farm, but it will be pretty sweet, so be on the alert. Thursday afternoon, that'll drop May 30th. The Cool Beans drop, and it is cool beans.
It is, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of history on this one. This is
no, you do not.
Don't want to miss out on.
Because this is one thing, you know, if you miss out on it, you might never get a chance to get it again, is probably the most likely scenario. So don't miss it. We have an exciting guest coming up later this episode. Big Andrew Hanus is going to join us, who we just talked to recently at Home Gym Con and the Arnold this year. So we're going to get to have a chat with him. But before we do that, we've got several other topics here. We do have a can this week. Should we jump into a can?
Actually, yeah, I'm pretty thirsty, so that's a good idea.
And this is a can. Tommy, I think you've got the same thing over there.
This is a can. You are correct.
This came to us from the Arnold. It just got kind of pushed to the side for a while, and we found it. Well, I had your can.
You did,
so
yes.
I waited until I saw you last, and we dropped it off.
This has been in the works a while then.
This was from Big Hogan. He gave us to this.
I was wondering. I feel like he gave us a can. I could not remember for sure.
And what do we got here?
Blackberry citrus. It's a Kroger one, and I would say the initial smells are pretty top notch.
Kroger seltzer water, 0 calories, caffeine free.
Okay.
Splashed myself in the face when I opened it.
That ain't too shabby.
That's a little different.
I'm not even much of a blackberry guy, but this ranks pretty high for me for blackberry stuff.
Now, give me a good blackberry brandy and 7-Up any day of the week. Am I right?
Blackberry brandy and eggnog.
Ooh.
That's what my old roommates used to like to drink as their seasonal drink.
That sounds like it would make me puke.
I wouldn't drink it because it sounds like the worst thing ever. I don't think those are supposed to go together. I'm not really sure why they did that, but that's what they did.
There's nothing wrong with little blackberry brandy from time to time, except for the taste, the quality,
or if you mix it
the way
with
it makes you
eggnog,
feel.
there might be something wrong with that too.
Yeah. Okay, what do we want to
I
talk
go 3.5
about
first
first this week?
I go 3.5.
Oh yeah, what do you?
I go 3.5. That's very close to 4 though for me.
I think 3.5 is a safe range too. Something else coming this week. I don't know if we'll do it the same day as the drop or what day the YouTube video will come out this week, but wait, am I confused on that? Yeah, that actually comes out like tomorrow.
Oh, that video?
The YouTube video. Yeah, so here's the deal. You did the barbell tour at Heavy Metal Barbell.
Yes.
And I hadn't seen that at all until just like 2 hours ago. I finally saw it.
Yes, God. I keep forgetting.
So I didn't know anything. I knew nothing about it. This happened like a month ago probably, and I knew nothing about it.
No, this was over, I think this was the end of March actually.
Okay. So by the time anyone's listening to this, the video is out on our YouTube, and it is really cool.
Just so you did enjoy the video.
I assume everyone's going to enjoy the video. It is really cool, this tour of Heavy Metal Barbell, and they make barbells for the Strength Co. and a whole bunch of other people. Mm-hmm. And it is pretty interesting. It is good stuff. I think I would assume everyone's going to be pretty interested in that.
I tried looking around before I even went there. I had a hard time finding a video that felt like it was worth watching that talked about how a barbell was made.
I've never seen anything quite like it before either.
And it was still
probably would have seen something like that.
It was still fairly high level. You know, like the video itself is about a 15-minute video and it takes you through most steps of the process. But I was with them for an entire day. So I got to ask them like 1,000 questions. Plus the guy where we're at, Heavy Metal Barbell, the founder of the company is the guy that invented Power Block. So he has all this history and knowledge of just the strength and fitness world. And, oh yeah, I worked with so-and-so and he worked here and he did this. And I mean, he knows everyone because he's been around in the actual industry for decades. So just so much experience, so much knowledge.
He invented Power Blocks.
Yeah, invented Power Blocks. So yeah, it was just like, it was so cool just to hear all the stories and hear them talk about just making barbells through the years and just all the things they've done. It was, and then actually getting to see it happen and not just see it happen, but get to ask like 1,000 questions about the process to where now I actually feel fairly educated about how a barbell comes to be.
Yeah. So don't miss that YouTube video either. Cause it is interesting. It should get a lot of views. If it doesn't, that'd be just be a absolute crying shame.
I was gonna say, just the fact that you said that means that like now it might not.
Yeah. And I came to it from it's fun for me because usually if I'm not in the video, I'm held the camera or some
you were totally fresh on this one.
Yeah, and I was like, oh sweet, this is like I just got to sit down and enjoy a Massenomics YouTube video.
I will say,
it's pretty fun.
So that video was the first time. So that actually there were several challenges with that video. So first of all, I'm showing up to this place. It's in Owatonna, Minnesota. Well, they have multiple, an office and a warehouse, but the office I show up to is in Owatonna, Minnesota, which is about an hour from the cities, or not even an hour, 45 minutes, I think, from the cities. And I walk in, and first I'm like, do they even have any clue like who Massenomics is or any? And so they did. They knew Massenomics, and so got to just talk with the guys for a long time. But then we drive to the location where their warehouse is, or where the machining shop is, where they actually do this stuff. And so we get out there, and so I'm with this group of guys that I've never met before. I'm in a location where I've never been before. This is the first time ever I've shot a video while also being the guy that's trying to ask questions and also like, rigging up doing all of it. Normally like we kind of almost in a way split that work because I'm like, right. I know Tanner, once I'm running the camera, I know I can kind of focus on my thing, and Tanner knows how to we've done this long enough. He knows how to keep the pacing, keep things moving. And you
might throw in a few things here and there.
Yes.
Just to
and I'm like, I'm totally like running the whole thing solo here. And I remember when I got done with that, I'm just thinking like, oh, if there was a time that the sound wouldn't work, it would be this time. I was so paranoid that like something wasn't right. And then I got home, reviewed it all. I'm like, I actually think this looks okay. And it worked out fine.
Oh, I think it came out really good too. So sound, audio, video, everything is really cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's a good video.
So check that out, people.
And we've seen a little traction on the Massenomics YouTube.
It has been going better. Yes.
We're very excited about that. It's probably the thing we're the most excited about right now is Massenomics YouTube. So if you're not subscribing to that yet, go check it out because we've had some pretty good videos popping up on there every week. Speaking of people popping up, Brian was back.
Guess who's back?
He's back again. Brian was back. Brian J 1008, the Brian, the infamous Brian. If you've been a listener or follow on Instagram, everyone knows who we're talking about. There was a meme. What was the meme about that he followed us back? Oh, it was a Planet Fitness. It was Tom Cruise.
Maybe we should give just a really quick recap. The original recap was this maybe 6 months ago. It was when Taylor Swift first started going to Chiefs games. And you posted, what was the meme you posted? It was some Taylor Swift meme.
I think it was breaking, the breaking news memes that we put out every once in a while. It was breaking news, a picture of Taylor Swift, and then it was like, she's going to be at the American Pro to watch John Hack. Saying that she's going to be, and like some people thought that was serious, I think, like in some world somehow.
It's so dumb, And then Brian left the comment saying unfollowed. Thanks for making that easy, right? Isn't that what?
Yeah. Thanks for making that.
And everyone, it just immediately turned into, no, Brian, don't leave. No. And there's all these people, like just tons and tons of comments. So this little thing lived in infamy because it got so much traction
and there's just so many memes made. And you couldn't even explain why. It wasn't like, we've certainly gotten way worse comments over the years.
It was just stupidity of the whole thing is right. It just fed off itself. So Brian left. We've tried to keep in contact with him, and he's just kind of left us hanging.
He's turned us down on being on the podcast. He's acted like he didn't know that like his comment was getting like 1,000 likes and hundreds of replies, and kind of he was playing dumb a little bit. Brian was.
And then you posted the Tom Cruise. I don't watch Tom Cruise movies. What clip was that even from?
That could have been any movie he's ever been in.
It was a clip of Tom Cruise running from like a building. Yeah. And it's like,
really fast.
I'm sure that scene exists in every Tom Cruise movie ever made.
Right.
So yeah, it's him running from a building. And what did the text say on it?
It was like me leaving Planet Fitness after I blow up the toilets and break all the barbells.
Yes. And
something like that.
That's what brought him back, right?
Yeah, he commented, ha 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 ha, and I saw this comment and I was like, wait, that is Brian. And then not more than 30 seconds later, Brian followed Massenomics. It would be impossible to think that
he
forgot what he's like, what's this account? I should follow it, you know?
Yeah.
So then later that day, naturally, we had to post a Taylor Swift.
You just had to test the waters. You had to feel the situation out.
And maybe, you know, the first Taylor Swift meme, it was a slide of Taylor Swift memes, and the first one wasn't too bad. The first one was just like my girl when I show her my very average gym lifts.
That was a
and
great
then in parentheses
one.
underneath it.
Did
they're
Dr.
actually
Mike
well
repost
below
that too,
average.
I think?
Yeah, Dr. Mike shared that too. They are actually well below average. But then the second one, if you slide over, is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift kissing each other. And so someone in the crew made this one, and Travis Kelce is Massenomics and Taylor Swift is Brian. And Brian commented on that one. He goes, "This is ridiculous, unfollowed."
And at that point,
he did unfollow.
At that point, I really thought, oh, he is playing the game to perfection. He's like just teasing everyone now. I thought he was going to hit unfollow, and then the next day he'd be back, but he's gone right now, isn't he?
But so the question, like that comment, "This is ridiculous, unfollowed." Like, I could see how someone could be a little offended by that thing showing like their Instagram handle over Taylor Swift kissing like a guy, and the guy is labeled as Massenomics. I mean, I don't know if it's that offensive, but you'd be maybe like, "That's weird."
It's like after we've done enough things. That's maybe the one thing that the internet gives you is if you have an internet-based company, is you get a little thicker skin of people saying really dumb and really bad negative stuff about you.
Right.
So I see something like that, and I'm like, oh, that's not bad at all.
No, that's not even. It's not really a shot. It is just funny, I think, in my opinion. I don't even know. It could be maybe it laughs at ourselves as much as it does Brian even too. But that comment, "This is ridiculous," unfollowed. Like, could that be real, or is he in on it at this point?
I thought for sure that was fake when I saw. Like, I thought that was I thought this guy is some mastermind. Maybe I'm giving him too much credit now again, though. Maybe I'm just hoping that that's what he is here.
There is some theory out there that we or I am Brian and have always been Brian. And I will say I am not Brian.
Well, but doesn't he have like follower? Does he have a private page?
There's like a profile picture, but you can see the numbers. Like, he has a few hundred followers or something. You know,
it's like that would take quite a bit of planning, I feel like.
But is it crazy to think we would have done that? Like, it's not completely crazy that it could have been done.
I mean, I can tell you, I wouldn't take the time to do that.
No, I wouldn't either, and we didn't. And it's not anyone we know. We do not. Just for the record, we are not Brian, and we do not know who Brian is. But for what we understand, Brian is a real person. I don't know at this point if Brian is in on it or not. You know, if Brian is like, this is funny, like I'm going to try and say something that they'll think is funny, or if he's legitimately saw that and was like, unfollowed.
Right. Yeah. They're kissing me and I'm Taylor Swift. This is public ridicule. I'm out.
Yes.
So
that's our Brian update. To be continued.
Continues.
Do you think we'll ever get him back again? It's funny because we went 6 months with him having unfollowed us. We got him back, and within
hours.
12 hours, within about 5 hours, we got him to unfollow us again. Like, we ruined it so quickly. But it was impossible not to do it. I think.
I mean, if he ever comes back, he just has to know he's going to be just getting hit with Taylor Swift memes.
Yes. So to be continued with Brian.
Wow, what a tangled web.
Yeah. What have you been grilling or something, Tommy?
Oh, okay.
What are you, the grill sergeant?
If you've ever been in the Massenomics Discord, first off, if you haven't, go to massenomics.com/join. You should be in the Discord, but we have a pretty devoted group of guys in there that are grilling and smoking meats all the time. And
they're smoking meats, all right.
Yes, they are. And those
guys love smoking meats.
I cannot remember. I'm sure we've talked about it before, but I just don't ever remember discussing grilling with you. Like, do you run a grill in the summer at least once a week?
Yeah. Here's what I would say. Yes, the answer is yes. We use a grill to grill burgers or steaks and stuff like that. We live in South Dakota, so you can't really do it. You can kind of do it in the winter if you put your grill in the exact right spot and you're like out there for 5 seconds at a time. But sometimes a year it is just miserable to be outside on the grill. But for like 6 months of the year, we're using our grill regularly. But I am not a big grill guy. But okay, I mean, I use it. I'm just saying, like, it's not a passion. It's not, some people, it's not a passion of
But like,
mine.
if you guys are cooking on the grill, like, does your wife ever do the grilling, or is that?
Yeah, she does it a lot too.
Okay.
Yeah, but like if she's gone in the summer, it's very likely that I would like go grill burgers on the grill or something like that.
Okay, so you do, but you do grill regularly. Like, you understand the ins and outs of your grill and which.
Good enough. I'm not saying I'm great at grill. Like, I wouldn't want to. Like, if there's a big party.
Yes. No, and that's where I'm at too. Like, it's like, no, I know how to make food the way I want it on there. And like, I understand how to not burn my shit and how to get it out, like, where it tastes good and correct. Like, I think I got that down. Well, so that was
grilling's more of a means to an end.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like to me, I totally get the guys like, hey man, I wish I was the guy that could like just chill at the grill. That would be awesome. Like my brother Ryan, oh man, he'll cook wings and he'll somehow make it take like 4 hours. And I'm like, dude, they're great when they come out and the process is fun, but that is a process for sure.
Right.
So I do like using the grill because I do like the way meat comes out on it a lot better, tastes a lot better. And so I use it fairly regularly. And it was probably 2 weeks ago, there was actual tornado warnings in the area, some very, very strong winds. And our deck is up fairly high, and the wind, I didn't hear it at the time, probably because the wind was so crazy. But the next morning I opened the shades, look outside, and our grill is laying on the deck. And I'm like, oh my.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was laying on the ground below.
No,
like it
God,
fell like,
no, that would be like.
Fell like 15 feet to the ground and shattered into a.
That would be bad if that happened. Yeah. But the grill was laying on the deck, and I'm like, no. And I can just see it like in pieces. And first of all, the grease. I hadn't cleaned this damn grill in a long time. So the grease tray had poured out all over the deck. So there's grease, and then it's dripping down into the patio below it, which was just a nightmare cleaning that up. Then the damn thing was so rusted out that when it fell, it like just put all of these just greasy rust chunks everywhere. So it was a nightmare cleaning that up. And then when I picked it up, I realized that like I don't even know what the proper terminology is, like the gas lines for the burners that are in it. Yeah. Almost all those had snapped off. So the grill was now no longer functioning. Right. And my wife, she actually bought me that grill for
my wife.
I think for my birthday. And we were debating the year, but it was when I lived in the original studio, whatever that was.
Yeah.
So it was at least 6 years old. It might have been
not at Tyler's house.
Not at Tyler's house, but the ones when we were doing it. It was at least 6 years old. It could have been 8 years old. It was probably closer to 8, which I think is a pretty good lifetime for a relatively cheap grill. I think
so. Yeah, for the kind of grills that like guys like you and I are buying.
I'm not
5, 6, 7, 8 years is.
It was like probably a $200 grill at the time at max.
Right.
At max.
Yeah.
So she says, "Yeah, you need to go buy a new one," and I'm like, excited to buy a new one, but that also means you got to put the damn thing together, and I'm not excited for that because I just don't want to be doing that. But we needed to eat, so I had to go get the grill. I go to Menards, get the grill. I find the exact same one as what I have right now. It's just the slightly updated version. You know, they moved the logo over here. Otherwise, the whole thing's the exact same thing. Yeah. So I put it together. I start using it, and I'm like, whoa. I'm like finally realizing, first of all, actually just opening them both up and looking inside. It was a drastically different picture looking inside what the new one should look like compared to the completely rusted out bad one. Right. And then I realized I don't think that like the burners that heat food on my old one for like the last few years had been, I think like 90% of them didn't work. There was really only like one little strip where heat was
just
produced.
Enough.
Yeah. It's just enough like where it's like, okay, if it's not directly over that, it's not cooking. And using this thing, it feels like I'm using some space age technology. Like it's just, man, food cooks evenly.
Just because it works.
Oh, yeah. It cooks evenly. It cooks so much better. It gets to temperature better. It stays at temperature. It's just, it feels like I'm living in the future now. So I've been really enjoying grilling these past few days now that I have a grill that's not totally been through like 8 harsh South Dakota winters. Because I don't put that damn thing in the winter either. It's sitting out all winter for me.
No, that's what you do. You just leave it out, and like a grill's gonna last about that long. I think that's the way I look at that. Like I've had grill covers before too, and they also blow away in
Yeah.
like the South Dakota breeze and stuff like that. I think you just factor in that it's gonna be a piece of shit in about 5 or 6 years.
That's why so like this one ended up being, I think it was $250. You add in that 10%, 11% Menards rebate. You're looking
saved
at
big
like,
money, didn't you?
That's right. So you're looking at like 225-ish, which to me, yeah, you look at 6 years.
Right.
It's not that much per year to run that thing. So
No.
yeah, that's sorry. I'm on team like disposable grill. I don't need to be babying that thing.
No, I don't babysit coats, and I don't take extra nice care of my grills. My wife had said before a few times, like, oh, we should get into like smoking meat and stuff like that. And I'm like, sounds like a good idea, and I'm sure it's fun. I just don't have the bandwidth for an extra hobby at this point, because that's what that is a hobby.
Yeah. Or you have to
like
wake up and plan, like, all right, this is what
Right.
we're going to eat today, and I got to
Right.
get after it this morning so it's ready for tonight, potentially.
I love it when other people do it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all about it. That's just not my forte, but I could see getting into it more someday, when I have maybe a little less going on, and I could appreciate it a little bit more.
The finer
Like if I had a weekend where that's all I had to do, like that was the main thing on my agenda, I'd be like, well, this is the best weekend ever.
It's like the 4-year-old virgin. It's like, yes, I went to the store. I was going to make this egg salad, and I got all the stuff, and then I was just too tired, so I didn't make my egg salad. Like, that's his response to what did you do this weekend?
Yes. Okay, we do have a sack. We've got a couple other topics here. I wonder if we should wait on kind of the equipment and training stuff until after our guest.
Can wait.
Okay. What about the sack? Do we want to look at the sack?
I want to see the sack.
Okay. So first there's a letter.
Oh, it's personalized.
Yes. This is from Meat and Muscles Barbecue, LLC.
Oh, wow. How's that for timing?
Yes. What's up, Big Tanner and Big Tommy? Actually, it's Big Tommy and Big Tanner. You're first. You said you love my meat. Now you get to put it in your mouth. Here's a couple samples of what I'm bringing to the meet in July. MEET. Love what you guys do, and I can't wait to get to Aberdeen. Thank you, Big Braden Floor, owner, Meat and Muscles Barbecue. Jerky with an attitude. Yeah. Meat and Muscles. Yeah. We got his business card right here.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Who's the business card guy? The movie
Bateman.
Batman. Yeah. Christian Bale.
Yeah, what's his name in that actual movie though? Patrick Bateman, is that what it is?
Yeah, something like that. So what he sent us. Now to get to the meat and potatoes of the sack, so to speak. First of all, he sent us each a shirt.
What?
Yeah. So here's an XL. That'd be about your size, Tommy.
Extra medium.
Yeah. And you got his.
Sweet. I like that.
Yeah. It's got the
skull.
Cowboy skull with the cross butcher knives.
Yeah,
Meat and Muscles. Jerky with an attitude. There's one for me. And then the most important part here. The jerky.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Oh, LGS habanero burn.
Is that Let's Get Stupid?
Habanero burn. What's LGS?
Is that Let's Get Stupid?
Oh, nice.
Right? Isn't this their guy? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is. And so, and he's coming. I guess I didn't say it. He's coming. He's going to have a little booth set up at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic for his jerky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Whiskey bent is the other flavor.
Sweet.
So there's 2 of each. So I'll, I think jerky keeps, so I can keep it till I got to send you a package here this week so I can throw it right in there.
Yeah. Just load it up.
Yep. So thank you to Big Braden.
Big Braden. Thank you. Hooking it up.
Coming through in the clutch. How about a little supporting our supporting members?
How about it?
Didn't write down that much this week, actually. Last week we had like 50 of them, so this week's going to be a little shorter. So supporting our supporting members is this relatively new segment of the podcast where we give back to those that give to us. Those that support Massenomics, we support them in return. And we do that via the segment. You know, they are official supporting members. You can become one too if you're interested. You go to massenomics.com/join on our website. And there you can see the different membership options. And hey, if you're a listener of this podcast, a regular listener, and you've thought before, hey, should I become a supporting member? And then you thought, no, I shouldn't. Rethink it and go to massenomics.com/join. At least go to the website. Do this for me. If you're listening, you're a semi-regular listener, go to massenomics.com/join. Check it out. Maybe you'll think it's a good idea to join up this time. And we'd love to see you. We'd love to have you. We love all of the supporting members. But this week, here's the ones we love the most. Big Scott Dodds did a strongman competition that I missed from last time. He trained up a weight class. Don't know what place Scott got for sure. I think maybe he got second. I'm kind of making that up though. I can just picture him getting second.
If I think of Scott, he's definitely a top 3 kind of guy. So
yeah. Then last week on Unpaid and Underrated, Big Tyler from Massenomics Gym, lifter in the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic coming up here soon in July. She was the guest. And then this week, Big Chattahoochee was the guest this week. Big Hanging Chad, if you will. So thank you to those supporting members, and thank you to everyone that supports the Massenomics podcast. We really appreciate it.
okay, you just are making me second guess myself now, Tanner. I'm gonna have a quick answer to this here in just a second. Where is it? Oh, never mind. Okay. Nope. You're making me get my Tylers mixed around.
Oh, Tyler Heinz.
Yeah.
Not Tyler Stone. I don't know if you get confused of which. If you remember
said
what
Tyler
Stone's he's the really tall
I
guy.
know. They're in a
Like
lineup. I always get him mixed up
with
in
the
a
beard
lineup.
and some tattoos and. He's the guy we podcasted with.
Yeah,
for like
I still don't really
125
remember who that is.
It's been.
With the
Oh no.
it's been a while.
It's been a while since we podcasted with that
It
guy.
has
To be
been
fair,
a while.
I could be making a little guest appearance on one of his podcasts one of these days, though. So maybe a
little teaser
be
there.
getting back in the saddle again. If I can remember which Tyler that is.
Right. Yeah, you got to make sure you can keep them straight.
Also, what I'd like everyone to keep straight is heading over to buildfastformula.com. That's where you can buy the best supplements for you. They've got their fully loaded pre-workout formula. That's the full blitz. They've also got their Vaso Blitz, which is their dual nitric oxide support supplements. We're big fans of the Vaso Blitz around here. They've also got their 80-20 protein. Let's see, got to click here. What am I forgetting? Vaso Blitz, full blitz, the 80-20. Oh,
Drink hack.
Blitz 3D.
Oh, Blitz 3D.
And then the drink hack supplement. And they also have a pretty sweet discount code. It's Massenomics. It'll save you 10% on any order that you buy from them, not just your first order, every subsequent order. And if you sign up for, like, if you always regularly use the Vaso Blitz, you just want it recurring, send it to you every month. Takes another 10% off, 20% off with discount code Massenomics. Thank you to buildfastformula.com.
And today's episode is also brought to you by Bearfoot Shoes. If you head on over to www.barefoot.store, you can check out some of our very favorite barefoot footwear on the market today. They have a mix of boots and shoes to pick from. And also, I mean, I don't want to give other companies too much credit here, but they are running an exclusive collaboration right now with Barefoot and Few Will Hunt. Don't know them, but I kind of feel like they're following in our footsteps. You know, we walked so everyone else could run when it comes to collaborations there.
Are those all puns that you just said there? They're following in our footsteps.
Oh, no, I'm just
our barefoot steps.
Yes, they're walking in their barefoot steps so that they could run. Or we crawled so they could run. So they got that going on right now. And then they also have a great selection of footwear, like I said, from boots to low tops like the Ursus Canvas or suede, or they also have an Oso, which is more of a slip-on style shoe. And Tanner and I's personal favorite for working out, the Ursus Suede High Top. It's available.
It's the only way to go.
Variety of colors, and once that thing gets wrapped around your feet, you're never going to want to take it off. So head on over to www.barefoot.store, and while you're there, make sure to use code Massenomics to save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Bearfoot Shoes.
What, is our guest here yet? Or
Our guest has arrived. Should I just keep him waiting? We'll leave everyone else in the room here.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know why not.
Actually, I'm reporting all these people to Zoom again for sexual harassment.
Well, that's one of the perks of being a supporting member is you can listen along live to the Massenomics podcast each week. And then when it's time to get you off, Tommy reports you all for being internet sexual deviants.
Let's just say you will never have an email or Zoom account ever again.
You're probably going to lose your job over this if we have anything to say about it. So
the cops will be showing up at your house.
Well, I shouldn't have sent all those penis pictures. All right, so we're here with big Andrew Hanus, who we've seen you twice this year in the last couple minutes, actually. We just got to see you at Home Gym Con here a few weeks ago, and then at the Arnold, where we've seen you the last few years also. So we're getting our big Andrew fix in this year.
Yeah, you are. Yeah. Hopefully not too much.
Never too much. There's no such thing as too much if you ask us.
Excellent.
First question. Someone told us, I'm not sure if this is accurate or not. You could probably clarify. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
I lost you a second.
Oh, okay.
Let me do this because it's trying to automatically reconnect back to the mic.
You'll have to go flush it down the toilet.
Right? Brand new DJI mic. What the heck?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry. Your first question.
Yeah. First question, probably the most important right here off the bat.
Let's hear it.
I think I said your name right. I said Hanus, but someone said the H is silent.
Well, I spent 9 years in the military, so the H was definitely silent for 9 years. Funny enough, though, growing up, never got teased or bullied or anything like that with my last name. Not until my TI saw the last name and stopped, looked up at me and said, "What the F?" And that's when it began.
It's you had to wait till everyone was more mature. It was a more mature level of humor.
Right. Yeah, no, it's pronounced, I grew up with it being called Hanus, and then now I've come to learn.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Tommy, can you hear him?
No, I think we lost you, Andrew.
Yeah, we
We all
lost
have
your
these.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Can you still hear me?
Audio cut out for a minute there.
Yeah.
We have these like really weird heritages, and I'm part Lithuanian on my great-grandfather's side. Or my
Your great-grandfather was Jadurna Savickas?
You know what? I've tried to draw those parallels, and it's not going to happen. But come to find out that my name is actually shortened, and that it's actually a very common name in Lithuania. And there's supposed to be like a little asterisk over the H or over the S, and it's Hanush, but it's supposed to be like Hanush. Like whoever came over shortened it. And I don't think they made the connection of the English word for anus. So,
They weren't worried about that at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. So we did see at Home Gym Con, you were running the Strongman show the one day, and also you were doing some MCing when during the log lift, and you did a really good job running the mic on that.
Oh, well, thank you. That was impromptu. I mean, I like public speaking. I was asked last minute by Jake to sort of, MC the log event. I think I managed to do it successfully with short notice. I'm really bad with names, and so I don't remember everybody's name, or some people are new. And so it was kind of fun to just do that on the fly, and nice to have, the chance to even do that, because last year when Jake first invited me to Home Gym Con, he said, "Come do a log lift off." And I was like, well, sure. And so kind of seeing it grow the second year was really cool. I think the second year we might have had 3 or 4 times the number of, individuals come up and lift. And then I helped Kurt with some of the planning and the logistics, and then the day of for the Strongman Throwdown, which was a huge success. That was a blast. Exhausting that we were down on volunteers.
Yes.
And so the four of us, kind of 4.5, running around the entire time and resetting every single implement for almost 48 athletes was exhausting, but so fun. I'd do it again.
I believe the exhausting part. So do you live fairly close to there? Like you've been to Home Gym Con both years then, like, is that a drive for you?
It was about 8 hours. So I currently live in Madison, Wisconsin.
Right.
Been here for about 2 years, and yes, 7-8 hours, depending on how many stops you make, how many Chipotle's and Taco Bells you got to stop to on the way there. And
we did at least one ourselves.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah, we stopped at a Taco Bell at like 1 a.m. on our way there the first night. So
and it was open?
It was, but it was definitely the C team.
It was the B.
The
C team was cooking.
I don't know if they actually put meat in our quesadillas. I actually didn't really put cheese in them either. It was more just a shell, actually.
Hopefully that was a really good tortilla at 1 a.m.
Yeah, I've had better.
Yeah. You road tripped with Big Deadliest Lift, didn't you? Did you guys ride together to Home Gym?
Yeah. Yeah, he lives right down the street from me, actually. I mean, 20 minutes on the other side of Madison, but we're in the same neighborhood. We share the same gyms. When we do leave our home gyms to go out and train at Madtown and sometimes over at Primal Fitness.
Did you see?
So we've pulled him to the dark side of Strongman.
Did you see Arnold just reposted him?
Isn't that amazing?
Dude, that's crazy.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, Arnold reposted him on
what
Instagram.
lift?
It was when he was doing
a lift that he did at home.
Yeah, was it when he was standing on the plates? Is that what it was?
Yeah, he's standing on 2 45s or 55s, and he picks up the camber bar. For squatting, he uses that as the deadlift handle, and it must have been a 30-second deadlift. I mean,
well, because he's balancing the whole time.
That was just amazing. So yeah, Mark, I think somebody mentioned from the home gym community, they mentioned they were trying to get him to come out. And one of the days that we were at Madtown here in Madison, I told him, Home Gym Con was a blast. You should consider doing it. Come do the deadlift party. I just watched him, a weekend before, pull 950 or something on a mammoth bar. And so I thought it'd be a lot of fun to have him. Plus his following, his community, he's the perfect fit for that type of convention. And he didn't immediately say yes, but then he messaged me maybe about 2 weeks before and said, "Hey, do you mind if I catch a ride with you?" And I also came down with another lightweight strongman, Josh Kowalski, and he's got a truck, and so he's driving from Minnesota. He's picking me up here in Madison, and we're going to drive down to French Lick. And so I asked Josh, like, "Hey, there's going to be room in the truck?" And he's like, yeah, he's a big guy, but he can fit. And so I took that back to Mark and I said, yeah, there's not a ton of room in the truck, but you can sit in the bed. And he just kind of laughed like, haha, okay, it sounds like a plan. He left it for a week, and I'm very straightforward with my sarcasm.
Yeah.
A week later, he messages me again. He said, "All right, listen to me, hear me out. My brother has a big cab with a crew cab, or a big truck with a crew cab. Do you think we could take that truck instead, and we can still put a trailer on it and everything to bring equipment back? And that way I don't have to sit in the bed of the truck." And I just laughed. I'm like, "Dude, I'm kidding with you."
Yeah,
and it was the funniest chain of messages that I go back and I screenshot it because it was too funny to see. He thought we were serious, that he would have to be in the bed of the truck on the way down.
Right.
So I'm so glad that he made the trip with us. So.
Yeah, that's cool. That is cool. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
Madtown Fitness, does John Hack train there too? Or has he in the past? Or,
Yeah. John trained there for a long time before he moved out to California, and, always came back home here. At least I understand that Madison is his home. And then he came back about the same time I moved to Madison from Cali. And so he's come back to Madtown, and he's been doing a lot to help raise, just sort of the profile of Madtown, especially as the owner there. Dan Polchuk has been revamping, renovating every square inch of this gym. If you walk into this gym, It is an elite FTS wet dream. It is
Yeah.
amazing what Dan has put into there and what him and Tate have been able to do to just revamp that place. It's a powerlifter's paradise, really. So it's a great spot. It really is.
Do they have much strongman equipment? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a handful. He used to have more, but since I started coming there and training more, Mark, John has dabbled in it and is dabbling more and more in it. He's starting to do a lot more. He's built us a big set of power stairs, and so he's invested in the growth of the athletes. So long as they're respectful to the rest of the community, which is fabulous. And this guy has more equipment than I've ever seen in any gym, and I've lived in 14 cities. I've never seen so many different types of machines and equipment in a facility.
Yeah.
Things you've probably never seen, but things you guys actually might kind of geek out over. He's got some really old things in there. And he's got storage units around Madison, all around Madison, filled with stuff. So fascinating guy, an amazing gym.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah.
Did you bring any? I know Mark got some equipment at Home Gym Con. Did you bring anything back for your home gym?
Well, so my intention, my whole plan was to go down there, get a trailer, bring it back home full of stuff. And we did that, only it wasn't my stuff. I got so busy kind of, the first day getting the trailer and then actually spending maybe 2 hours or so talking with some of the OGs from year one and just saying hi to people. You get caught up in conversations. Then I got to emceeing, and then next thing you know, it's time to go to dinner. And then the next day I spent the entire day just doing the strongman contest. And so I didn't really get to actually explore very much and talk to a lot of people, do a lot of engagements. There were some things there I had 100% intention on just outright buying. And by the time I got to it on Saturday afternoon, it was already gone, or surprisingly, some of the booths were already closing up on Saturday afternoon, which is a little annoying because I was like, it's 2:00. Why is this booth gone already? So I did not get as much as I had hoped. I got a bench from Body Solid. Was it Body? I believe it was Body Solid or Body Extreme. Shoot, now I can't remember. Weird, funny thing is,
it was an extremely solid body.
It's an extremely solid bench too. Yeah. It is really nice. So I'm happy about that. But then the other thing that I was really hoping to get was a rep rack, and so I wasn't able to get that. By the time I ran over there, all giddy, I'm like, hey, are you guys taking this apart? Like, can I still get it? And one of the rep representatives was like, sorry, it's spoken for. So did not get nearly as much. Got a couple of random plates. I did get two really cool things from Black Widow. Dean does an amazing job with powder coat on all of his products at Black Widow. And he had a knurled axle bar. Yeah. And I fell in love with it immediately. And thankfully, my buddy who was with me, Josh Kowalski, he said that, so I'm in the midst of training for a contest in England called the Chaos Classic. And at that event, they're going to have a max axle overhead press. And Josh said, you know what? It'll probably benefit you training on that axle bar because all of the axles in the EU or the UK at least are knurled. And so they typically complain when they come to the States and then we have smooth axles, and then vice versa. It's sort of like a surprise that they have knurled axles when our athletes go there. And so I grabbed that from Dean, and it's been amazing. And I also grabbed a really unique pair of farmer training handles. So they're not full on, 3 or 4 foot pipes with collars that you put the weight on, but they're just upright handles that have a collar that comes out sort of perpendicularly from the handle itself. Yeah. Same distance that it's hanging from your side and all. And I mean, I could probably load that with a lot more weight, but it's not going to be the exact same sort of what's it called, the exact same sensation as training actual farmer handles. Right. Yeah. Right. The weight's going to be directly over my center line. So, but I think as just a small implement to have in my home gym, it's easy. It's so easy. So, and even a good tool just to warm up with. So those were the two I was actually really excited about. And yeah, so I didn't get to leave with as much as I'd hoped, But next year, I'm just gonna like tell Kurt, hey, you're on your own. I gotta go get.
I gotta go get equipment. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think actually next year I might go down earlier and just talk with the reps as they're setting up and start to make claims, man.
Yeah.
That might be the best thing to do.
That's part of what's going on at home gym. Kind of everyone that drove is figuring out what
working
they can
their
get to
deal.
leave
Yeah.
with.
Yeah. I really wanted some stuff from ATX, man. That would have been
Yeah, their
awesome.
stuff's really cool. Yeah,
I was excited to go back over and grab something, and then I found out that everything remaining the resort actually bought for
really?
their fitness center at the resort.
That's
the
cool.
resort ended up getting a lot of things. They bought one of the stair steppers, a lot of equipment from ATX, some of the equipment from Rep. They bought a lot of things, which is awesome to see, you know, that they actually invested too.
Big Kyle Kaizen got the ATX lat pull down Trinity Tower thing. I know he got
that thing was amazing.
Yeah.
How it adjusts from you know seated to man, just so cool. To the lie down. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that thing was sweet. You talked about your Strongman show coming up, and we haven't I think anyone that is listening is new to you might not understand, but you have a pretty impressive Strongman resume. Do you call your weight class, is it 90 kilogram usually, or do you call it middleweight Strongman, or what's the designation?
Yeah, so 90 kilo. It's interesting because it is the first subdivision of the middleweight class for men. And I just converted over to 90 kilo. I was 80 kilo for 10 years. And then these last 2 years I've competed as a 90 kilo. And that is the middleweight criteria, but or the middleweight sort of baseline. There's also, depending on the federation that you're in, the classes will jump. So the subdivisions are 200, 198 or 200 pounds.
Yeah.
220 for USS nationals, or sorry, national United States Strongman nationals on the brain. And then the Strongman Corporation, the other US primary federation, their upper division is 231, so 105 kilo. Those are the middleweight classes that most people are sitting in. But I say that, and people who compete at 231, 105, just like in powerlifting, they tend to drop from a heavier weight. So they might, drop off 15, 25 pounds.
Yeah.
And the same thing as you go down the line. I walked around at 190, 195. I competed at 175 for years and years. And then age and all that fun stuff catches up with you. Career, life.
Yeah.
Happy wife.
So do you ever see, would there ever be a day where you go up a weight class again?
Gosh, no. I walk around very comfortably at about 211, 210. And right now I've been walking around like 214, 216. And I just haven't really been paying attention to food, which is a nice thing. But there are some days where I feel really uncomfortable just in my body, because that's kind of pushing it. And I absolutely feel that when I start to do some training. So conditioning takes a little bit of a hit here and there, and it's fine to not have to move as fast. I don't need to be super agile or anything like that. But you feel it even just in your leverages. Those sort of things change. The way your belt fits, and you have to change gear, and all those things just feel weird. The way the log would sit on you, or the way you hold a yoke, those things start to take noticeable changes the more mass you put on.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also in the reverse too. As people lose weight over their fitness journey, they feel different in movements and exercises that have traditionally been very normal feeling for them, whatever it might be. So it's kind of interesting to experience that and realize, like, you got to be careful, man.
Yeah.
Don't get too big.
Yeah. So have you won basically everything there is that you could win? I mean, you've won like the Arnold. Did you win the Arnold this year?
Yeah, I won the Arnold as an 80 kilo in 21, and then in 22, I thought I had this sort of blind faith that I was going to make that weight cut again from 208 or something like that. and I did not make that cut. And so that's when I bumped up to a 90 kilo. And so for the last 2 years, I've won Arnold at the 90 kilo weight class. And that this past year at the Arnold was kind of, I don't want to call it a fluke because that sort of belittles it, and that also sort of demeans the competitors my peers that I'm going against. But I have this concept, in the military we talk about physical readiness. All right, that's a very common concept. Being ready at any time to respond to a physical need, and that could be saving somebody's life, that could be chasing a suspect down, whatever it might be. So I'd like to treat my training with a little bit of readiness. And from the official Strongman Games that happens in December, from December all the way until about 2 weeks before March, before the Arnold, I was kind of casually training and with no intention on doing the Arnold at all. And then my group of close strongman friends, Josh, Cody, and Ross, my Stronger Together team, they took it amongst themselves to just sign me up anyways, and left it at that and said, hey, man, you don't have to compete, but we don't want you to feel left out. So take it or leave it, just go have fun. That's all they wanted me to do. Because I felt some guilt about not competing and actually properly handing off the title, letting somebody best me and win. So they signed me up, and I was like, all right, screw it, I'll do it. Because if you're going to sign me up, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I managed to slip out a win on that too, which was kind of crazy. But so I'm the first of the weight class division strongmen or strongwomen to win 3 Arnolds, let alone 3 back-to-back. The only other person who has done that at the Arnold is Andrew Hanus. So I'm chasing that, and I got to get the 5 if I want to try and do that. But they're on another level. So yeah, we'll see if that happens. But I have, winning the Arnold, it's an invitational. So you have to go through the Strongman Corporation pipeline to get there, which immediately sort of pushes out a lot of other competitors who don't train or compete within that federation, or who don't qualify through that route. So winning that is an amazing achievement, and I'm super proud and happy that I was fortunate enough to do what I've done so far with the Arnold. I have a nationals title through Strongman Corporation, and then I've podiumed as an 80 kilo in the official Strongman Games. But with that being said, the official Strongman Games have really grown to become the pinnacle of the strongman sport. It has more diversity of athletes from, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's at least 20 or so countries from around the world. 400 athletes that come out, 150 to 180 of them tend to be from international locations. It's the best of the best, people who are vying for the actual title of the world's strongest insert weight class. And so getting third there was actually really cool years back, and people still vie for it. So if I was to, make the claim of, doing everything that I personally wanted to do in my strongman career, I definitely have done it. I made a commitment years ago that I want a podium at OSG and I want a podium at Arnold, and I've done those things. Everything else has just kind of been bonus since then. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Do you think that weight class strongman, or you could say lightweight or middleweight strongman, do you think it gets the credit it deserves, or like that it has started to get more of the credit that it deserves?
It's definitely seen an uptick. I think the interesting thing is, everybody talks about this pound for pound, these individuals who are, lightweight competitors who are stronger pound for pound than their open class competitors. And that might be true to a degree. But the human mind is a fascinating thing. And what really captures sort of the awe is watching giant men move giant things. And so for so long, I still do it. I think we all love watching our world's strongest men competitors pull jets, pull buses, lift these heavy stones. There's something about it. But over the last decade or so, and I think it's going to continue in this upward trend, the weight class divisions have really made a name for themselves, and you're getting people who are more unfamiliar with it. I think that has a lot to do with the Arnold itself, but also with the official Strongman games. That platform over the last going on 7 years, because it started in 2017, that itself has really made a platform for us to showcase ourselves as worthwhile competitors. That and CrossFit. CrossFit has given us another audience who understands this type of fringe sport. And so I think we get a lot of spectators, we get a lot of, equipment manufacturers and those types of fans who associate with CrossFit or Ironman or whatever it might be. And they look at Strongman and they go, oh, okay, I understand what you're doing. This is actually really cool. Maybe I'll follow along some Instagram or whatever, YouTube. So I think there is an upward trend. I think we're only going to see more of it. There's a lot more invitational based contests taking place around the world, and I know there's more coming. So I think it is. It's got its place, especially within the women's divisions. The women are fascinating to watch. They're incredibly competitive. Some of them would best me on my best day. So it's amazing to watch some of them grow too in their sport or in their divisions. So yeah, I think that's also helping too. Now the women at the Arnold, they have, the women's division at the Arnold Classic. That is just awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they're getting paid.
Yeah. That makes it even better. Is Cleveland where you're originally from? Cleveland, Ohio?
Yep. Born and raised in Cleveland. Yep.
Is Cleveland in the Midwest?
Ohio's a weird place.
That is the truth, isn't it?
We go there every year to admire these shitty toilets at the Columbus Convention Center. It's something weird. Cleveland, geographically wants to be the Midwest. Politically, I think it wants to be the Midwest, but it's also not the East Coast because it's not on the East Coast. It doesn't share that coast like all the East Coast states do. So I'm going to say it's the Midwest to make sure that nobody tries to death threat me.
No matter what you answered, somebody's going to try to death threat you.
So, right?
Yeah.
You can't win that conversation.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is true. You mentioned it, your tenure in the Air Force, and you worked with canines when you were in there. We have a lot of listeners that are pretty into cats also. So I was wondering, do you think that cats could serve a purpose in the military?
Well,
as being a canine expert, how do you think cats could fit in?
Man, I don't know. Are they orange cats?
If that's helpful.
Yeah, any color
because orange cats have they've got a personality.
Right.
I think all cognitive creatures have the ability to be trained, and so I can't say no because I've seen rats that have been trained. We do these things. We've trained monkeys, we've trained all sorts of animals to do these things. So I can't say no to that. They just might have they might just throw tantrums more often. I don't know.
But you can't think of this. Cats. You can't think of the specific purpose though, offhand.
Ooh. Oh no. We're not really. Catnip isn't really a threat to human health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. You have you done a TED Talk before?
I have. I did a TEDx while I was going to school at Georgia Tech. Yep, that was an interesting one.
Is Georgia Tech? Is that the Yellow Jackets or?
That's right.
Is that's where Megatron went to, isn't it? That's where The wide receiver for the Lions, Tommy.
Johnson.
Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
I think that he's
Went-
like Georgia
went
Tech.
there. No
alumni.
kidding?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I might be making it up.
Nice. I mean, they don't have a good football team, so
Right.
so they don't have a lot of good sports. I think maybe rowing and basketball they're good at.
I'm looking. Jimmy
At that.
Carter went there in 1946. So they got
President Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
Okay.
or maybe
That
it was
is
just some
true.
guy named Jimmy Carter too. It could have just been a
Yeah.
coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't the Jimmy Carter. They just hang on to that.
A
'cause they
guy
didn't
named
have-
Yeah,
Jimmy
yeah.
Carter.
Yeah.
It was the peanut farmer, Jimmy Farmer. Jimmy
Right.
Carter, the peanut
Right.
farmer.
Right. So you did a TEDx talk there, though. That's pretty cool. How was that experience?
You know what? It was really unique. I think, when I signed up for it, I didn't know exactly what I was getting into, but just the TED name, the TED branding was kind of attractive. I learned a lot about working with that group. So TEDx is a little bit different. There's sort of chapters around the country, mostly at universities. And the one in particular at Georgia Tech was run by an undergrad student group. Which is really cool that they empower them. They give them the tools to carry out these talks. They give them funding and then send them all the marketing material. I was at the time, I was a master's student. I was, I don't know, 31 or so, or maybe 30, who knows? Well, anyways, I get assigned to a presenting coach or presenter coach who is this 19-year-old undergrad. I don't remember her name or anything. Super cool. But the way that they try to get you to hone your talk is they kind of focus on like two different points within your narrative. And then they get you to elaborate that. And then they get you to try to memorize the talk. Because you don't have a script in front of you, there's nothing to read from. They want you to memorize it, and that was hard for me. So I struggled a lot with that part. I got the gist of it, but I definitely struggled because we were having a lot of audio issues, and you could hear it in the room, and it just kept throwing my talk off. So my experience was a little frustrating, but the talk was still well received, and going through the process of actually figuring out what is the message, what is the take home that I want the audience to have was actually a really rewarding process for me. And so my talk was about, what lessons I gleaned as a canine handler in the military from my working dog, and what type of attributes I can then bestow upon the rest of my life to my experiences and frustrations and just my growth as a human. And there are some really unique things I didn't think about until years after I was out of the military. So that whole process was so worthwhile. And I wouldn't have done it had I not been sitting next to this 19-year-old girl who was like asking me questions that, somebody my age probably wouldn't have asked me, or, so it was a really rewarding process in that way.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds fun. The memorizing of it would be unique. I think speaking in that way of like having a memorized speech would be an odd experience.
They really do they take masterful talkers or presenters and then they make them better. I was crap to begin with, and they kind of polished me a little bit. So I think it's where your starting point influences how your talk's going to go.
Right. We have this game we play with everyone that we have on here now. We're from South Dakota, so we talk about Mount Rushmore on occasion. And we want to get your Mount Rushmore. So it'd be kind of your four best, your Mount Rushmore of rooms in the White House. So your top White House rooms.
My top White House rooms. Yeah. That is going to be a hard one because I don't remember the exact names of these rooms.
Okay. So you worked in the White House for
yes,
little bit,
I
right?
did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. So I worked in the White House under the Office of Science and Technology Policy. I was a science policy fellow. And
that's a term, right? When you say fellow, like you're not just saying like, oh, I was a science and tech dude. Like fellow means something specific, right?
Yes. So I was paid to serve in a position that was designated not as a contractor, but as sort of an advisor, a consultant, a staffer. It's a way for the government or any other public entity to sort of endow a person with an opportunity, but then also for them to pay them in certain ways. And so I was able to be paid while I was there as a fellow, which also kept my pay really low too, which stinks, but you know, it is what it is. The most memorable room off the top of my head, I mean, without a doubt, it's called the Indian Treaty Room. It is a beautiful room. And I believe if you do a search for the Indian Treaty Room, and I think it would be with FDR, you'll see he used to do some broadcasts, and you can see the Indian Treaty Room in the background. And that was a beautiful room, and we would host everybody in there. There's this awesome echo that's in there. Every square inch of it is just kind of like this handcrafted marble and
Yeah, it's really
stained
really
glass.
ornate look. I've never heard of it. I'm just looking at it here. That is pretty cool.
It's beautiful. And so the Office of Science and Technology Policy actually, it is a White House office. It is an executive office, but it sits in the building adjacent to the White House, which is called the Eisenhower Executive Building. And there are a lot of really cool little rooms in there. And there's another room in there that I really enjoyed that's not like an official room. It's actually like more of like a little meditation kind of getaway space. And it's up in the annex upstairs, like way upstairs. And it's sometimes a little too warm in there because the AC doesn't really reach it. But you would go in there and you could close the door, only one person in there at a time. And it was just this really soft green room. And it had a window that just overlooked the back of the White House lawn. And it was just really peaceful. And that didn't have a name. Didn't have a name. I mean, I spent so much time there too. And I mean, you kind of scrub a lot of things out of your mind. I mean, I used to sleep under my cubicle. Like,
Yeah.
you know, that was a great spot too. But
Did you ever
yeah.
get to go into the Oval Office?
No, not into it. I did on tours,
Yeah.
but never for any meetings or anything like that.
Right.
No, nothing like that, unfortunately.
What year was it?
I was there 2015 and 2016.
So was Obama there the entire time, or were you there for Obama? Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And so then right at the end of it, that's when I left. I'd gotten accepted into Georgia Tech. The Obama administration was coming to a close. I left and went to school, or went back to grad school at least.
Yeah. All right, well, that's good, Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I didn't even finish around Mount Rushmore though.
Well,
I didn't even have 4 rooms.
Well, you did good though. You did tip us off on a couple good ones at least, so that'll be sufficient. You were on the Titan games too, right?
Yeah.
The original Titan games.
The Titan games. What an experience.
Yeah,
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yeah. So how did you do?
Poorly.
Okay.
I mean, I
watched it. I just don't remember. It's been
no kidding.
Several years. So
you can Google my name and I think it pops up somewhere, or sometimes if you just Andrew Hanus Titan games.
Yeah.
The way they pair you up, and so they fly out like 50 athletes to LA, and we did this Titan Combine, they called it, because Dwayne wanted to sort of mimic the NFL Combine, except it was nothing like that. It was so many different things that you had to do. And that was a fun day. They selected all the athletes that they wanted to be on the show from there. Then we flew to Atlanta to actually do the filming, and you get paired up with a competitor. And so at the time, I got paired up with a individual who was a pro long driver. I think he walked around like 290 pounds. The guy was just muscle. I mean, huge dude. And so I got paired up with him, and the producers did a good job to balance out the types of events and the physical demands. And so some of the events were a little bit more weight favorable, and some of the other ones were a little bit more agility or climbing favorable. And so it was best 2 out of 3. I won the first one, and then he won the second 2. And then unfortunately, because I made him work for the second 2, he not only he tore his bicep, but he also broke one of his toes, which is really unfortunate because as a long driver, like that's his career. He had this long hiatus of recovery, which was terrible. But then they asked me if I would take his place then in the elimination round, where you go and you hammer these stupid poles in. So I went and did that and got knocked out in that round too, though. So never got to actually climb Mount Olympus, which is a bummer because we all got the opportunity to play on it, and I think I would have crushed it. I will say this because I don't care what the producers say, but I don't know if you guys know who Matt Chan is. Matt Chan won the Titan Games. He's, you know, an OG CrossFitter. I mean, one of the most, I think, recognizable names in CrossFit, and probably one of the most the most respectable athletes I have in my portfolio of individuals. And I was there with him, and I just remember him saying, "I'm kind of glad you didn't make it because I was scared to go against you on Mount Olympus." Because you had to be fast and you had to be strong at certain things. And so it was a bummer I didn't get to do it because that would have been fun to go up against Matt Chan.
Yeah. That's cool though. That's a
Yeah,
that's a cool experience to have in your resume, you know, to have done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
We've got one more game that we like to play.
You got a game? All right, let's hear it.
Yeah, one more game. Overrated, underrated. This one's fairly simple. We got a few hand-picked topics for you, and it's just your job on each one to decide if they're overrated or underrated. The most important part is you can't ride the line. You have to pick. You have to pick on each one. So as long as we were talking about Titan Games, overrated or underrated, The Rock.
Damn, that's. I mean, I don't care, so I'm just gonna say overrated.
Yeah.
He's
probably
not
gonna invite you back onto Titan Games now, though.
He was so incredibly nice. The bare minimum time that you did get to see him, he did spend time on the floor with every single athlete because he's in the show, so he needed to be on the floor. So he was really nice, but and his presence was all, I mean, he's a gentle giant kind of. I think his TV or his film personality isn't one for one of him either. But also I think he's a little overrated. So he needs to stop doing films.
I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Overrated or underrated, Space Force?
Underrated. I think, I don't know. I think I would try to get into Space Force today if I was, still, if like all the military branches were open prospects. I'd probably try to get into Space Force.
Do you think they'll allow dogs in Space Force?
Gosh, wouldn't that be something?
Well, there was a dog in space before human, I guess, right?
Yeah. Russia did a good job at that.
Yeah.
Those dogs never came back.
They lost a lot of good men up there.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to be on the frontier of space, though, especially, as we start to, find out, new ways to travel across, or at least to Mars at best, right? Making camps and stations on the moon, things like that, launching off rockets from the moon. Those types of things will be fascinating. And I mean, the potential experience of one day going into space, I'm going to take the risk. Put me on the Space Force. Yeah. But just change the name. I don't know.
Yeah, the name could use a little retooling.
Yeah.
Leica, first dog in space. Leica.
Leica?
The dog's name. Yeah.
Say what kind of dog it is?
I don't know. I just know that because I had a friend was their name of their dog, and that was why.
Oh, interesting. Do you guys have dogs?
I do. I do.
I have a Bernedoodle, so he's about 90 pounds. He's a big boy.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Dude, you gotta, you take trash bags with you on walks?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you have kids. I have kids, which means he eats a lot of their food that he shouldn't. So there's always a situation of some kind taking place.
Yeah.
And I have a Morkie. He's much smaller than that. He's half
what's a Morkie?
I mean, it's half Maltese and it's a mutt, so it's half Maltese and half Yorkie.
Okay. Oh, I bet that's pretty cute. Is there a Massenomics pet wall?
Oh, there's not, but it would probably make a pretty interesting wall.
What do you mean?
Yeah, right.
What do you mean a pet wall? What am I? What?
I mean, you've got the crew, and you've got all your
Oh,
supporting members who you could
right,
have
right,
a
right,
Massenomics pet wall.
right. Oh, people would be all over
Yeah,
that
it'd be
too.
quite the variety.
That'd be
there.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked.
Okay.
Leica. It says it's a Samoyed Terrier. Is that how you say it?
A terrier, high energy dogs.
Not anymore.
Not or
Yeah.
oh, geez.
Yeah. Overrated or underrated microeconomics?
Underrated. Yeah, there's a lot of math there. However, some of the insights are just too cool. Human behavior, consumer behavior, even, I mean, geopolitics to a degree. It's just amazing to kind of glean insights on that level. Problem is scaling those insights into usable policies doesn't happen.
Is that kind of the joke? Is that it's not? There's like that there isn't a utility to it, like that.
Yeah.
It work like in practice, it makes sense, but the application of it, there's a problem.
Exactly. I used to have this amazing econ professor at Georgia Tech, and I'm not going to get it right off the top of my head. I could send you guys an image later, but I found this really funny XY graph. Then on one end of it, it had macroeconomics, and then utility, and then the other end was microeconomics and something else. And it was just like a circle of a joke. And I put it right on his door, and I could hear him laughing down the hall. He never took it down. Never
like
took
the funniest
it down
thing you'd ever seen. Yeah.
Like, you really got him with the economics jokes.
I'll have to send it to you guys. You could put it on a story or something. It's too funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, micro's cool. Micro's very cool.
Okay. Overrated, underrated. Big Eddie wanted to know the Philly cheesesteak.
Damn, I'm gonna piss off a whole state. Underrated. I'm sorry. Overrated.
Yeah.
Overrated. It's. I had so many Philly cheesesteaks while I was in Philly, 3 years, and I know somebody's gonna say, "Well, you didn't have it here. You didn't have it here. You didn't have it here." I had enough. I'm just not a Philly cheesesteak person. It's just like here. I mean, in Madison, in Wisconsin, this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, there's Bratfest. And I've actually not gone to Bratfest, but my neighbors have lived here forever. They've grown up here. They've gone to Bratfest. And last week we're talking about it. And I said, well, should I go? Like, is there a day I should go? And they're like, do you like brats? And I'm like, yeah, I can do a good brat. And they just kind of laughed, and they're like, then it's not worth your time. Like, what? Like, if you want to go and you want to spend, extra money on brats that you wouldn't spend otherwise, don't do it. But if you want to go and you want to see some music and you want to do some carny stuff and things like that, like, it's just a celebration festival. But the brats there are just overrated. So yeah, unfortunately, I think Philly cheesesteaks are overrated.
Yeah, Tommy, how do you feel about?
I'm like Philly cheesesteaks are like my top 3 food item to order when I go to restaurants.
Top 3?
Oh, I just love Philly cheesesteaks at a restaurant, man. Just
no kidding.
I don't know what. Maybe it's because like a burger. Like I'm so over ordering burgers because I'm like I can just make a burger at home. Like it just doesn't do it for me. And I don't like to order like a steak at a restaurant because it's like $40 and you get like an 8-ounce steak, So it's like Philly cheesesteaks just hit that sweet spot for me of something that I don't make at home. They're priced right. It's usually a good amount of food. Like it just does it for me. I don't know why, but it does.
The bread's important, right? Like it can't get soggy.
That plays a part of it too.
Bread.
The cheese, I mean, the meat also obviously is the star of the show. But
you
then,
do
like,
whiz or no whiz.
Yeah, you look at the cheese. Yeah, there's a lot of. And again, I haven't had an actual real Philly, so I haven't. I haven't been out there to have the real deal. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've been doing it all wrong all these years. But I like to order a Philly at a restaurant.
Okay, all right. I respect that.
Okay, last one, and this one's worth all the marbles. It's the most important. Overrated or underrated autonomous cars?
um, 20 years ago, underrated. Today, a little overrated. Quite overrated. I think some of our tech gurus have given labels and made false promises that have really harmed the development of autonomous vehicles. And it's made it harder for the consumer to actually trust or have faith in those things and that technology.
When you say tech guru, are you talking about like Elon Musk or what?
100%.
And like,
Okay,
are you
yeah.
saying full self-driving? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has been such a poor steward of it, and yeah, he has thrown in an unbelievable amount of money at trying to solve the tech problems, but he's been doing it with a very myopic and ill-advisable approach, not including the right people, and his way or the highway, and it's not safe. And people have gotten hurt, and there's been a lot of loss of life because of him. There's been a lot of policy changes in the country because of him, and it's sort of thwarted the early progress that was made in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2000 to 2008. And I've done a lot of research on autonomous vehicles and sort of the innovation policies around that and how that helped create an entire new, I think it's like a $5 billion industry today. Every automaker has their hands in some type of autonomous tech, and you experience it or use it in some weird way every day today in a newer vehicle. It's just a matter of time before some of it actually starts to sort of take better shape and is more acceptable. But when we have crazies like him, it makes it harder, and it makes it harder for the people who are trying to get money and trying to get the ability to actually put these roads on the vehicle passed by lawmakers. So it's a little challenging, unfortunately. But I'll say that's a little overrated today. We still have a long way to go. They're not going to be here. Fully self-driving vehicles are not going to be here for a while. But when they are here, I tell you what, that road trip from South Dakota to Columbus is going to be so nice.
Oh man,
I'm looking forward to
see
that. I think, yeah. Right.
You know? Yeah. Yeah. And so, you know what? I mean, also, I got now that I said Columbus again, I mean, I got two things for you guys. One, this year, Eddie, you're gonna laugh. I think I told you, Dan. This year when I was weighing in for the Arnold on Thursday in Columbus, right? You guys are there. I think it was Thursday. And
yeah.
You're setting up the booth, but people are already trickled in, and the booth is actually really busy, surprisingly. Your booth was, and not a lot of booths, other booths around were very busy, but your booth was, which is a good sign. While I was standing there talking to Eddie for like 15 minutes, I had just weighed in. I just started drinking some water. I was snacking on an apple or something like that. And I don't know, 15 minutes I was there. We took a picture, and I was getting ready to walk away. I'm like, yeah, I probably got to go to the bathroom. I was standing on like adjacent, not behind, but almost in the path of being behind your booth. And I just had to fart. It's like, I got to fart.
When you got to fart, you got to fart.
Yeah,
exactly. And Eddie was talking to me, and it wasn't a fart.
Yeah.
And I realized that, and thankfully, I was wearing spandex shorts, and that saved me quite a bit.
Yeah.
But when I realized what was happening, I had to hold it in, and I said bye to Eddie. I ran to the bathroom. I had to throw out my shorts and everything. I had to clean myself up in the bathroom there.
You're part of the guy. You're part of the bathroom problem.
yeah. I was gonna say you were the first domino that fell to kick off the whole thing.
It was me. It was me. But I was scared to go into the big one, so I went back upstairs, up the escalators to the cleaner bathrooms. Where the good ones are at.
Yeah.
And I changed in there, but all I can remember was just like, man, now I'm that guy who shit at the Massenomics. So, I mean, next T-shirt idea for you, or sticker.
I never noticed. I never noticed any smell.
No, I mean, not out of the ordinary. At least.
Not different than the regular Arnold smells.
The shit smell already. So yeah.
Right.
So that was incredibly embarrassing for me, but now I'm like laughing at it, and hopefully you guys will have me back to the booth. But
Yes. So you tested a fart and lost.
Bad.
Yeah.
Which I was amazed there was anything still in my system because I had just gone through a week-long water cut,
Yeah.
and like there's no food in me. What the hell? So that was one thing. The second thing is I want to put a plug in or a prompt for you two to make a trip to Madison this December.
That would be
And
cool.
this December in Madison, we are hosting the official Strongman games at the Alliant Energy Center, and it's going to be awesome. It's a 4-day event, Thursday, December 3rd through the Sunday, which is December 6th. It's going to be an amazing weekend. Strongmen and strong women from all around the world. We're going to have the Thursday is going to be youth and teen contest as well as adaptive. And then Friday and Saturday are the weight class divisions, and those are the semifinals. And then Sunday, we cut down to the top 10 in those divisions, and we have our finals on Sunday. And then we have an amazing after party on Sunday. It's really going to be a strongman takeover of Madison. We're talking with ESPN about having radio spots and having them actually in attendance as well. We're talking with some of the bars about having, strongman themed drinks, and we're really doing a takeover of the town. So it's going to be fascinating.
Tommy, how far of a drive is Madison?
Just look, 6 hours, 43 minutes.
Really? That's it. That is not that far.
Just down
actually.
the road.
Yeah. That's
Not
like going to the
far
other
at all.
corner of South Dakota
That is.
sometimes, like I thought you were going to say, tell me 10.
Well, I'm giving you my time, not Aberdeen time.
Oh, so I got a couple hours
Yeah,
extra.
so
on
you're
that,
closer to
but-
10.
You got a
but
little bit more.
Yeah.
for me,
Right,
it is
right.
just right. But we always got to break up our trips. You always got to come like a day early to
Right.
my place, Tanner. so
Right,
it's-
right. Well, that's not impossible.
No,
actually.
that actually is somewhat doable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, let me know if you guys are interested. Maybe I can talk to the promoter. I'm helping the promoter, Lynn Morehouse, do a lot of sponsorship gathering, bring out some of the local businesses, things like that. So if you guys want a booth, I can be your guys. Maybe we can do something where we get you and your supporting members some tickets or something like that, so that they can come. Maybe we can have a conversation later.
I don't
about
think you
that.
want all those people to come. They don't.
Oh, I
you
want them all.
Those people. Yeah.
I want them all. And there's a rumor that I'll say it. There's a rumor John Hack might try to compete.
Ah,
So
Pride of
if you want to see
Wisconsin.
John Hack dominating some strongman events,
he can't afford not to if it's right in town.
yeah.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
So,
that's
yeah.
interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
Tommy, anything else we got this week? I think we
that-
do really appreciate you coming on. This was fun. This was
Yeah.
cool. It's kind of been in the works for a while to get you on here, and I'm glad we got to do it here finally.
Yeah, same. I had no idea what we'd talk about or anything, but I just love chatting. So I love listening to you guys. You guys have been in my podcast feed for years now. I think at this point I might be obligated. Keith might jump on me. I might be obligated to become a supporting member at this point.
Keith
as
has
much as
got
I
to get on
believe
you.
that's
That's
Yeah. Now that you said
Yeah.
it, Keith will really be on your case now. That's what he's
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think I can
absolutely.
afford it. What is it?
For you, special deal, $50 a month is all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
That's a special deal
discount.
for
Okay.
you. Yeah, right.
All
You
right.
you almost can't afford not to.
Yes, obvious.
Yeah. Awesome. We appreciate
thank
it.
you guys.
We'll see you sometime, whether it's in Wisconsin in December or
The Arnold in
Ohio
March,
in
or-
March or Home Gym Con, and we'll cross paths again, no doubt.
Yeah. Well, in either of those situations, looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thanks,
I
man.
appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot, Andrew.
Yeah. See you guys later. All right.
See ya.
See ya.
Cool beans.
Did you give him his cool beans, Tommy?
Special Air Force, White House, Georgia Tech cool beans.
Yeah, right out of the White House kitchen.
Yes.
I was going to ask him how the cafeteria was at the White House. Forgot to.
The real inside scoop.
Bad news, Tommy.
The damn Timberwolves.
Yeah, bad news. I was keeping my eye on it.
I was
Not good
too.
news.
It looks like, man, at least looks like it was a game though.
It was a really good game.
None of the games in the Nuggets series were games.
No, this one came down to the final seconds, honestly, I think. So, so they're starting 0-1 in the Western Conference Finals, but I would say hope's not lost in that series.
No.
I still like their chances going forward. So losing the first one's kind of a stinker, but
it is. But also, if you just watch them go win games 1 and 2 and 6 and 7, it's like anything is possible.
Yep. And I do not think this Dallas Mavericks team is as good as the Nuggets team, which I don't think that's going out on a limb to say that. So I think the Timberwolves certainly have the ability to be able to win that series.
Yeah, that's rolling us right into our Timberwolves segment, though, of God, that game 7. I don't know if I've actually ever been that jacked for a basketball game my entire life. I'll tell you.
We were going nuts.
There's 2 plays that just like made my head explode. And this is, people have to understand.
Rudy Gobert
yes,
when he made
wait. People have to understand, as a Minnesota sports fan, there's just years of just
defeat.
Like, I mean,
at the end,
pick almost any other, you could be a fan of almost any other franchise or city, and you like to complain like, oh, we haven't had a championship this decade. It's like, no, we haven't had a championship like ever. Outside of the Twins in the early 90s, what's it, 89 and 90 or 91, 92, whatever it was.
Kirby Puckett.
Outside of that, and I wasn't like a lot. I mean, I was alive, but I was like 1 or 2. So like that doesn't even count. So outside of that, it's just been nothingness for 30 years. I can never say like that your team has won it ever in 30 years. And that's just me. That actually goes, that record extends much longer than that, you know?
Right.
But, oh man, I'm like caring about basketball more than I ever would. And then that game 7, it just really felt like, I don't know. It seemed like, no, this is Minnesota sports. Like they're showing there's a sign of life. Could they do it? And then the game's just going and going. And when Gobert hit that like fadeaway, like when that shot went off, I'm like,
when he made that, I'm like, they can't lose this game.
Like, first of all, I don't even think he shot it so high, like it wasn't even on the camera, and it just all of a sudden
and he's
comes
a horrific
down
shot. Also, like his jump shot doesn't even.
The second he turned around and starts fading away, and I see him shooting him in my head, thinking,
it's
why
like, oh God,
would he ever take that? I don't even know your team that well, and I know you shouldn't be doing that. And that went in. I was like, oh my God. And then there was that, and then there was at the end when Cat had that putback. And it was like it like came out of nowhere. It was like he just appeared, and I was like, yes, like just like Bernie was like freaking out, like he didn't know what was going on. And that it was I was so jacked. That was the most fun I've probably ever had watching a basketball game.
Jack and I were going nuts in our house. My 3-year-old got woken up out of bed from our streaming, and she watched with us, and she was loving it. Doesn't understand what's going on, but every time we were cheering, she was getting in on the
Ant
action.
didn't have like an amazing game by any means, but like Naz Reid, man, he was just he was like the missing piece to that game. At the end, he came in, and he didn't have like the world's most impressive stat sheet, but if you watch the game, you're just like, yep, he is what's making this happen right now.
The Wizard of Naz.
Oh, it was great.
Naz Reid for president.
That was so fun. So yeah, I'm hoping there can be a few more, just a few more games of that electric feeling this series.
I think we'll see some yet. Hope is not lost. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna read a ad, and we can talk about one of these topics in here.
Maybe I should read an ad first, since yours will
yeah, okay,
funnel
there you
into
go.
that.
Good, right.
Okay, this episode is also brought to you by our good friends over at Swisslink. Swisslink is your go-to source for military issue goods from military forces around the world. Right now on their website, they're featuring a fine collection of British sleeping bags. That's right, British sleeping bags. They also carry just a few more things I'm looking at here. Romanian rucksacks. Say that 10 times fast. Slovakian woodland M97 field parkas. And of course, the classic Swisslink blankets that are loved by people worldwide. If you want to check out some of their Swisslink's exceptional collection, or just dive into the deeper parts of what they have here, like the camping gear. Maybe you're interested in their Wavian fuel cans or some of their other great items. Head over to swisslink.com, and while you're there, you can enjoy a 15% discount on your next purchase by entering code MASS. That's MASS will save you 15% at swisslink.com. Thank you, Swisslink.
Well, thanks, Swisslink. And also make sure to check out juggernautai.app. Go check it out on the website. Juggernaut AI is like having the best coach in the world with you during every training session, helping you reach your true potential. When you sign up at juggernautai.app, you can use discount code Massenomics. That'll save you 10% for that lifetime of that membership. Every month you get 10% off. It makes it about $30 a month. And the value to Juggernaut AI just keeps getting better and better. Because what did Juggernaut AI come out with now, Tommy?
Okay, so this ad turns into a actual
topic
discussion point here. Yes, a topic.
Yeah.
And this is very interesting, actually. I've really enjoyed the little bit I've got to play around with this so far. And they have launched a second app called Smart Barbell. You're saying a second app, already Juggernaut AI already has coaching. What is this? Well, Smart Barbell is an app that is made just for barbell tracking. So we're talking speed, measuring speed of your lifts, how much shift you have, and also it can track your range of motion. And it does this with a visual line on your bar, and also creates a chart. It does quite a few things. But if you are a Juggernaut AI member, this app is free. Like, you just log in, or you create an account with your same Juggernaut AI credentials, and it knows you, and then you can start adding videos into it. But if you're not a Juggernaut AI user, I believe the app is like $5 a month. So it's just another one of those things that if you are on Juggernaut, which you should be, because it does provide amazing training. Let me actually just tell you right now, I'm just starting week 11. Just picked a random date out there, and I'm 11 weeks into this random training schedule. Yeah. Let me tell you, things are going quite good right now. So I'm very happy with how training's going.
Well, you posted your lifts.
I did post my RP 10. I did post an RP 10 week. So I had an RP 10 week last week. And my first time deadlifting 405
that looked easy.
I mean, it was easy. Yes, it was. It was first time deadlifting 405 in 5 or 6 years probably. And it's never been a muscle thing. It's been more of just I got to get everything feeling right thing and confident. Right. I mean, there's a lot to it. And when I finally got to it, it felt great. So Juggernauts helped me get there. Squat, I did, top set at 365 for 5. Felt great there. That felt awesome. Bench was the one that was a little bit of a disappointment. I wasn't feeling the best going into it. I've been having some crazy sinus allergy things this week. And I pushed bench a little bit too far. I was hoping for 4 reps at 295. I only got 3. I really do think on a better day, the 4th one was be there. But yeah, so things are going in the right direction on Juggernaut. So I'm very, very happy with all of that. But
yeah.
Before we go fully into the topic, do we need to say our discount code for Juggernaut so people are
it's Massenomics, 10% off lifetime of that membership.
But anyway, so yeah, they launched this app, and I remember I saw a little video about it. I had to call you and tell you got to check this thing out, because I actually thought it was that cool. We were on the phone. We were both loading videos into it. And what it does is you just open it up, and it basically is just asking you to submit your videos in here. And so what you do is you load your video into the app. The app analyzes your video, your training video. You tag it with either a squat, bench, or deadlift or other, so it knows what category to put it in. And then it analyzes your video, and it will give you it's really impressive. So it gives you, for each rep, it will give you your descent speed, your ascent speed. If you had a pause, it'll give you your pause time. And this is down to the 100th of a second. So when I'm looking at, I'll go into that in a second. And then it'll give you your velocity, so how fast you're moving it, your range of motion, and then your shift. And some of these I don't totally know. I'm assuming your shift is how far you're deviating from straight
line.
Yeah, straight line. But just looking here, and don't have a ton of videos in here, but just the few that I've put in, the really interesting number is that velocity number. And I'm assuming things are in meters per second here is what they're at. So when I look at my RP 10 day for squat, so I have 5 reps here, and my velocity for each one. So my first rep, my velocity was 0.44, second rep, 0.39, third rep, 0.41, 0.39, and 0.35. So you can see they're pretty damn consistent, but they do slowly trail off towards the end. Right. And then there's numbers in here, like I said, for your ascent, descent, range of motion, shift. But what's really interesting then is taking that velocity number, and I think they're trying to build some metrics, some baselines for what to expect at certain RPE ratings. But like the one that they're giving you here,
what RPE?
Yes, it's like what they're giving you though here is it says like as a rough baseline, it says a truly maximal lift, a 1 rep max at the last rep in RP 10 effort set will typically be at 0.2 meters per second or slower, which is not fast. Like that is pretty slow. And then it says the last rep of an RPE 8 set will be more in the 0.26 to 0.33 range. And so reading that, like taking what they said there is I was supposed to be doing an RPE 10 set on squat. I did 365. I got done. And in my head, I was like, oh, I could have for sure done 2 more. So it's like, okay, well, that would be, an RP 8, possibly an RP 7.5. And if I go back to what they just said, they're saying a real RP 8 should be in that 0.26 to 0.33 meters per second. If I go look at mine, the last one on my set was a 0.35. So that actually is above the 8. And so to me, that says, oh, actually, what I am kind of calculating RP correctly in my head, because that would be about a 7.5 or an 8. It's depending on how that works for your body. So I think it's a super cool feature. I think people should, if you are on Juggernaut, you absolutely should just get the app, start loading some videos in there and playing around with it, because it's really cool to see. But if you don't have the app, if you don't have Juggernaut AI, this to me is just a really great way, or another great thing to say, like, hey, this is included in your monthly subscription, and you're going to learn a lot about how you lift weights, not only like on the heavy reps, but then even like your drop sets, like what your velocity looks like, how fast you're moving that bar between sets, and also what your, you could say like the efficiency of your technique, how much you're shifting, and then also how much your speed you're able to maintain throughout a set. Just numbers that get really geeky. It's nearly impossible to keep track of unless you have some specialized tool. This is making it significantly easier.
Yeah, it's cool. It seems to work pretty well. Like I'm gauging it against, like I don't know the accuracy. Like I don't know, but what I can tell is there's consistency, because like it, whether say it says 0.3 meters per second and maybe it's really 0.2. I don't know, but what I can tell is it's when a rep looks slower, it's registering as slower than a faster one. And when like there's a pause, it catches it and it knows, so I don't know how perfectly accurate it is or isn't, but what I can tell is that it's picking up on differences, and the differences are noticeable in there. So it knows that. So it leads me to believe there is some level of some level of accuracy, because there's so much consistency. You can tell it's picking up on things that you can notice.
Yeah. And it tracks, like it shows, because it wants you to film from a certain angle where it can see the plates and like the end of the bar and everything. And you can see it draws a line where it shows how it's tracking. So it's either like right where the bar is going through the plates, or on the end of the bar, it'll show this dot of it tracking up and down. So you can see what it's paying attention to. And it's like, well, if it starts to see that movement down and it starts the timer, I mean, that's not that complicated, with the machine learning, all that stuff they have. Like, that's not that complicated of a thing. Like, okay, here is where it is. We recognize this pattern. And as soon as that starts to go, start timing. Like, so, I mean, yeah, it's probably not totally perfect, but I do tend to think that, I mean, in my head, the little bit that I understand about those things, it seems like that should be a problem that machine learning stuff can solve fairly consistently.
Right. And what I think it's going to be cool, and Chad did mention that it's probably headed this direction, is if that can be eventually just integrated into the Juggernaut AI app at some point in time. Just so then it's ultimately not even another app that you have to open. It's like you can just add it right within the app, and then it's helping you gauge those RPEs.
Well, because we talked about it, it's all right. Like a great one is like on your RP 10 days, or like, days when you're reaching like a really heavy top set, to load a video in there. And like you have an idea in your head of what that number should be, but then you get maybe the more objective computer to look at it and say, yeah, that really was an RP 8 when you thought it was a 9.5 or a 10. Or maybe, the computer says like, maybe you thought like, I felt like I was dying, and the computer looks at it and says, no, you were actually still moving that at like 0.35 meters per second. And that's not an RP 10. Like that should not be your 10. So it is kind of a neutral third party to analyze your lifts outside of your training partner or your spouse or your buddy that maybe knows what's going on. Like this really is just like letting the computer take it by the numbers and tell you what it's seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's cool. It's a cool addition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I highly encourage everyone, like, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. And, just the few videos I put in there, I feel like it's like kind of like making me think about my lifting in a little different way. And I'm never the guy that's like also thinks about my lifting of like, I got to explode through every rep. Like I just go and do my lifts. You know, I'm not changing that at all, but it is right. It is interesting seeing how that speed does calculate on a rep. Yeah.
I like it. I did get a piece of equipment in the mail today.
What?
Yeah. They actually asked, because these are kind of hard to get right now, and I don't think they're really for sale on the website. So they asked that I don't really advertise that. So this is going to be only to our podcast listeners. Do they get to know? And maybe our Instagram followers.
I'm very curious what this is now.
Well, you already actually know. It's the Cleva double deadlift jack.
Okay. Yeah.
But they said, could you not really tell people about it? So I'm only telling our podcast audience about it because I wanted to brag about getting it. So.
Well, yeah, you can't like not say anything.
And I did say, yeah, maybe I'll try not to, but no promises there. And like only like our 55,000 Instagram subscribers might see it too. So. Yeah. Well, but other than that, I won't tell anyone.
Just tell them if they want it. They just have to go to Home Gym Con, talk with them for a while, really ask them to make them a double one. Kind of like bug them about video. It. Yeah, make a video, and then that's all you got to do, and then you can have one too. Like it's not that hard.
And pay for it.
And then pay for it. Yes, and also then pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah. It is pretty. I put it together today, and I got to take it to the gym this week later. But it does seem pretty cool.
What color is it?
Black.
It is all black. Okay, I couldn't remember if
they
that
might just be the. I don't know if they come in other colors. They might. I'm not sure.
I didn't know if it was silver or black at Home Gym. I couldn't remember.
They said you can get it in any color you'd like as long as it's black.
Yeah. The old classic response. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yep, it's cool beans.
Now, when you go into the gym and it's somehow bent in half.
Someone will figure out a way.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There's always something. I walk in almost every day. I won't get into the details, but there was something this week, and I'm like, how is this broken this way?
Like I couldn't do this if broken?
What's that?
Can you at least say what was broken?
It doesn't even matter, but like it was a real it was pretty immaterial, and like so I wasn't that worked up about it, but I'm like, I couldn't do this specifically if I tried to. But people find a way to break shit.
Yeah. There you can never be surprised.
I've seen it all. I feel like I've seen it all at this point, and still I'll walk in and be like, oh, you broke that. Wow. How did you do that one?
That is so funny because now that I have my own gym and like I know exactly how things should be, it's just like there's just never any surprises. Like exactly like it's and you're just like
everything is wherever you put it.
And also you just understand the tolerances and how things are made. So it's like, man, for me to break something would be so just impossibly hard to do.
Yes.
And then I'm just thinking of like if I just like put 8 guys in my gym and said, yeah, go work out. I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, okay, the floor would be cracked.
Oh
like,
yeah. So I guarantee it.
There'd be cracks in the floor. Somehow like all my 1-inch plates that are on pins would like fall off of the rack. Like the J cups, like the barbell anchor would like confuse someone and they'd drop a bar from the top up there. I'm just like, all these little things that I just take for granted would, I have a feeling it's like somehow the wall control would get like ripped off the wall or something.
People do not, even like the best people don't really give a shit about stuff that's not theirs.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck it, that's fine.
It's like that's gym stuff. It's made to get thrown around.
Yeah, like well, kind of like with an intended purpose and properly, but like not what you're doing.
Take it to the limit.
I take it to the limit. I push and I push. Okay. Anything else we wanted to get into this week?
A couple things. I can finally now, after going to battle with the old ab wheel or the glute ham slider, I can finally now start to do just like the ab wheel type exercise without feeling like my abdomen is tearing. Like tearing open. That was the limiting factor for me. It wasn't that I didn't want to do it or anything. It's like I can't do it because it actually feels like something's ripping.
Right.
And I don't know what that was, but now
I understand that.
After a little over a month,
on that specific exercise.
I don't know if I fortified things enough, just like a rep or two at a time. But today was the first day that I've actually been able to do a few reps, actual like sets of like 6 on it, and just feel like I'm getting a workout and not hurting myself. Or hurting myself to the point where I'm like...
Not like you're ripping your abdomen open.
Or like if I could keep going to this, I know I could make myself do it, but I actually will be in severe pain the next couple days. And it also took me like days to recover from that. So I don't know, like just even a few sets and a few reps. So that's something's getting stronger. I like it. I'm on the up and up there. So that's a good feeling. We do have to do a very quick Facebook Marketplace deal of the week.
Oh, you got a deal of a week?
I have a correction for last week. I said Power Block. I think I said I saw one for like $150. That was the wrong price. It was for $50. It was that
50.
cheap. It was 50, and it was the set that goes up, because I think there's like a smaller one that goes up to like 30 pounds or something. It was the set that goes up to like 70 pounds or something. So it was an insanely good deal. That one is
like
gone.
A ruse almost.
But I'm curious. I just saw this today. I'm curious. This is a very interesting set. You know the market pricing on this. So it was a set of 15 through 55 pound dumbbells. So it was 15s, 25s, 35s, 45s, 55s, and so 5 sets. And it says they can also throw a rack into a dumbbell rack. So I'm assuming that's included in the price, and that's $400. Now, what's interesting about this is it's a real grab bag from everything from Hex dumbbells to what looks like the Ivanko Pro Style ones. They're not. They actually might be the Ivanko Pro Styles. And then 2 Yorks in there too.
Okay.
And the Yorks are the 35 and 25, I believe. So I'm just curious, 35 and 25 pound York dumbbells, what do those go for?
Those aren't rare in particular. I mean, I think that price is probably fine, actually.
That's what I thought. Just as far as dumbbells go, like I thought that was a pretty decent price for 15s, 25, 35, 45, 55, and a rack for $400. I don't want this set. It's too mismatched, and like there's too many things going, and it's nowhere near me.
I don't like the mismatchy of it either.
Yeah,
you know, that one.
And it's nowhere near me. But it's not very often that you see Yorks outside of it, or just thrown in a set like this. Like, here you go, get whatever.
Yeah, that deal's probably okay.
I also
I'd ask him to come down a little bit. I'd offer 300.
I did see someone this week had an Echo bike for $500, which I thought was actually a pretty damn good deal.
Yeah, that's probably a pretty decent deal, especially if it's in good shape, which has probably barely been used.
I mean, most Echo bikes. Does any Echo bike really get used? I feel like Echo bikes either get used really hard or they don't get used ever.
Yeah, that's
if it's in a home gym, you know.
Right. Right.
If I was in the market for one, it's like that would have been a great one to go with. But I'm not really in the market for an Echo bike, so.
Right. I rode that Echo bike today. I did 20 minutes on the Echo
20?
bike. 20? Well, 2 10-minute sessions.
So how are you approaching these sessions? Like, how are you doing?
When I do the Echo bike, all I'm doing is just, I'm trying to hit some time. So I'm just going for 10 minutes, and I'm just, mentally I have this thing where I'm like, I just want to hit 10 minutes of get a little work in and not worry about the numbers.
Yeah.
And I can't help but watch the numbers.
You have
then
to, because otherwise, like, am I wasting my time here? Am I slacking off? Am I actually
right? So then I'm always like, I got to do just a little bit better than last time. So that's what I'm always chasing.
Okay, but you're keeping it. Are you keeping it somewhat steady state throughout the whole?
That's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Yeah, like I'm just doing it. I just want hitting some cardio time, basically.
That's
burning some calories and getting a little bit of a cardiovascular workout.
I don't have a ton of history on the Echo bike, but when we did first get it, I did spend a fair amount of time on there. And
you can absolutely murder yourself in like 5 minutes on that.
In the early days, I was just treating it, when we first got it, I was treating it more like just keep like a somewhat steady state, but I was doing what you did, where it's like, I got to go a little faster. And you start kind of ramping up, especially when you're tired and you get really tired.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, something changed and I decided to actually use the little interval buttons or whatever. And I did those. And those are what wrecked me. The
intervals are absolutely so hard.
Well, because if
Like,
you
if you go
actually
and
try,
if you actually sprint.
yes, if you actually
on the-
try, you get punished so bad.
Oh
for it.
yeah, like 15-second sprints on the Echo bike
They're so hard.
are
They're so
brutal.
hard. Yes.
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, because it would go, and you start doing those, and then all of a sudden your what do you call them? Not the sprints, but like the jogs in between. You're just like a
I
crawl.
can barely
It's-
move.
It's like I'm
right?
actually not
I'm
even.
just-
I'm just
like,
going
I'm
fast
just-
enough so the
I'm
machine.
hoping if I go so slow, it'll make time slow down here before the next interval.
I know. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, the thing starts. It's like, well, give me like a second to ramp up here. and then it's the
Yeah.
same thing when the
Yeah,
sprint's
like,
winding
I'll
down.
take a second or two to ramp down.
Yeah, it's like,
Or
yeah.
really, I'm going to 15, but once I get to 10, if I kind of ramp down,
Oh,
like
you
the
do.
next
You're like,
5
well,
seconds
yeah.
are still
I need
pretty
like a
hard.
few seconds to like. I don't want to be like sprinting through the end. You know, this isn't a race. So at like a 10 or 11, I got to start slowing things
Yeah, otherwise
down.
you get to the rest interval and you're still going pretty fast. You're
Yes.
like, damn it, I need this rest.
Yep, and that's exactly how that went for me. And yeah, those things totally wrecked me. They messed me up, and I just never. It was one of those where it just felt like I never got any better at it. Like I was doing them, I did them fairly consistently for probably a couple months.
Well, because you can always just push a little harder on the sprint then.
You just go harder, and so it never
Right.
gets easier. Actually,
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Echo bike for you. It's kind of a hard piece of cardio equipment, isn't it?
it is. I'm just trying to think. Because I could see, especially this winter. Well, I'm probably getting ahead of myself actually, because I could also see this winter possibly having a gym membership for a couple months.
Yeah.
But there's the whole thing of, well, if I did stick around in the winter, it would be nice to have some type of cardio equipment
To
because
warm up.
yes, to warm up. And also it does just get so brutal around here that walks. I try to take my dog on walks, but there's a lot of nights where it's like, okay, it's -20 and the wind's blowing 40 miles an hour.
It's
like,
no, this is just brutal.
this is actually not safe for any of us to be out. Like, it's not safe for the dog because his paws,
Right.
like, he can't even start walking after a while. And then if I were to slip and fall or anything and it's pitch black out here and I'm kind of in a not super busy spot, I could just lay on that sidewalk and die. Like, I mean, actual things that could
freeze to
happen.
death in a few minutes.
Yes, quickly too. Like real things that could happen. So it's like, I could see adding a piece of cardio equipment in the winter. But I don't know what that would be. I don't know if I'd want a rower. I don't know if the Echo bike, I mean, the Echo bike's cool. I don't know if that would be, I don't know what that one would be. I don't know.
I would say what I like about Massenomics Gym is the variety, because I'll get really sick of one, and I have been using the bike lately, but I'll get off of that and switch to. But what I like about the Rogue Echo bike is right in the center, I set a drink spotter light, and then especially when I'm not doing intervals, I'm just doing kind of like steady state thing. I'll put my phone right there and then turn on YouTube, and I can watch like a 10-minute YouTube video while I'm on the bike. And the drink spotter light works perfect for that. Actually, it's life hack.
One of its intended uses.
Yep. Is that about it, Tommy?
I think so.
All right. Where do they find you at?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can make sure to check out the Cool Beans drop coming up later this week. Got something that's something in there that's very cool beans. Don't talk to us until you check out that drop. And you can follow me at Tanner_Baird, but just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.
See ya.